Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, I'm very excited to present our official September forecast for 2020. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. Alright, now I would also ask that you check out our very exciting Patreon page in the description and the pinned comment down below where you can help support the channel. That's also where you can find our very exciting Discord server and Facebook groups. Alright, now for today's comment of the day, I want to know, how do you want this September to go? Let me know in the comments and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Let's get into this video, and we're starting things out with our precipitation forecast. Now, starting things out, we have a very small region of above average precipitation we're expecting up there for the Pacific Northwest, there for the coast of Oregon and Washington. That's a slightly above normal precipitation. The confidence is a little bit lower there, so we do think that there should be above average precipitation, but the percent chance there isn't as high as possibly some of the other regions could be. All right, now here's a second region of slightly above average precipitation here. You can see it extends from Texas through the deep south into the southeast, up the mid-Atlantic coast and into southern New England as well. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add a second layer to that in just a moment, where there's going to be a little bit more of a more confident region of above average precipitation. Stay tuned for that. All right, now here we are with that moderately above average precipitation, and that's going to be here for the southeast. Portions of, we can see Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, and even Eastern Virginia there. Basically all models are on board with this East Coast and Gulf Coast region having some above average precipitation. Tropics has a lot to do with it. Obviously, the chance of a tropical storm coming in is, for this region and this time of year, is quite medium, 50-50 chance of somewhere seeing some sort of tropical system. So the precipitation really could fluctuate a lot, but I think that the chance of above average precipitation is above normal. And really, look at that. For the southeast, again, the moderately above average region, that's just where we're expecting some storm systems to frequently come through there. So really, the East Coast and the Gulf Coast, we're looking at above normal precipitation as a whole. All right, now let's take a look at our below average precipitation region, and this is going to be mostly for the Four Corner States. As you can see, a lot of the Rockies as well, in through the Plains, the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes. All of these regions are taking a look at the chance for below average precipitation here in the central United States, and really, there's just not going to be a common storm track that's going to bring storms through that region, I don't think. I think it's going to be quite quiet throughout the month of September here, so it could be quite dry for a while for a lot of these regions. So again, the Four Corner States, portions of the desert Southwest there, the Rocky Mountains in through the Plains, Ohio Valley, and the Great Lakes. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on and we're going to add a second layer to that. We're going to add that moderately below average precipitation region somewhere within that tan region, where we're even more confident that we will have some below average precipitation. All right, and here we are taking a look at that moderately below average precipitation, as you can see, for portions of Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming. We are expecting that there's a pretty decent chance there that we're going to be taking a look at some moderately below average precipitation. Now, there's one important key thing here you need to remember. Some of those Rocky Mountains expect to start seeing snowfall there in September. This is going to play a part in that. If we have the below average precipitation, we look at maybe a later arrival of that first snowfall, or even less snowfall than what you're typically used to, just because there's not a lot of precipitation coming through. And once we get to the temperature forecast, you'll see that there's a second reason why you likely will not be taking a look at too much snowfall here for the southern Rockies. The northern Rockies might even see less as well, in my opinion, for that second reason. Obviously, we're expecting average precipitation here, but on the temperature forecast, there will be more reasons why you will not be taking a look at as much early snowfall as we're typically used to there for the Rockies. Now, while we're on that subject, I will be soon, now that I've made this September forecast, I will be making a video who could see snowfall in September, also who will see their first fall foliage in September, maybe even who will see their first frost in September. I'm going to be making all of those videos very soon, probably after September starts, but there's just some exciting videos I have coming up. What we're going to do here is we're going to move on. We're going to take a look at that exciting temperature forecast, where there is some big changes coming up, and I think that some of those fall lovers are going to be extremely happy with my September forecast that's coming up soon. All right, now here is our above average temperature region here. As you can see, the Pacific Northwest, the Southwest, and a lot of the Rockies are in this above average temperature column. Again, I mentioned that early snowfall and that the temperature would kind of hinder that, and this is why we're expecting some above average temperatures, which means those below freezing temperatures are going to come in a little bit later, probably. And if not, they're going to be less frequent, which means the chance of a storm coming through at the same time is lowered. There's multiple factors there and why this would influence the first snowfall and the early snowfall. We usually see a few snow events for September, especially within the northern Rockies. I think that might not be the case this year. Now let's go ahead and add that moderately above average temperature region. As you can see, the same regions, Montana and Idaho there, as well as Wyoming. Those are the states that usually get that early snowfall, the very, very mountainous regions there for Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming. With those moderately above average temperatures, I don't know how much of that early snowfall we will see here for the month of September. Washington, Oregon are also in that moderately above average temperature region, as well as regions like Nevada, Utah, and portions of Arizona as well. This looks like we're going to have a very positive PNA pattern that sets in for September. This is pretty much the opposite of the past two Septembers. This is my third September I'm making a forecast for since I've started Direct Weather, which is very exciting, first off. But really, the two first Septembers I made forecasts for were quite similar, but this one is very different from those first two. If you remember how last September went, it seemed like a extension of summer for the East, and that does not seem to be the case. Quite the contrary, actually. So on that note, let's go ahead and move on and take a look at our exciting below average temperature region here. And slightly below average temperatures basically throughout all of the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, the Southeast, the Deep South, the Mid-Atlantic, and even the Northeast and New England states there. All of these regions are in the slightly below average temperatures. Now, I want to mention one thing about the timing, because I get a lot of comments every time I make a monthly forecast. Within like the first week, you know, people are already jumping the gun on like, for instance, like August 5th, saying this is so wrong, it's hot, or something. Wait and be patient, because these patterns sometimes take time to set in. For instance, I think with the below average temperatures, the western regions of these blue regions are probably going to get it much earlier on, especially Minnesota, the Dakotas. You're already starting to see that very soon. We talked about an upcoming cool down yesterday. That's kind of the beginning of this pattern. The East Coast in the New England states, I don't see that occurring until around the 10th. I don't think the cooler than normal conditions will set in until around the 10th. Before that point, it could be warmer than normal, actually. But if you get 20 out of the 30 days with below average temperatures, you will come out on average with the whole month being below average temperatures. I hope that makes sense. If anybody needs any clarification on that, you can leave a comment. I will be sure to try to answer that. Here's our moderately below average temperature region here for our moderate shade of blue there. So more of the inland eastern states there are the ones that are going to be dealing with this more confident region of below average temperatures. The areas like the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, they seem to be cooler earlier on, but there has been a little bit of a trend at maybe at the end of the month, seeing a little bit of some warmer temperatures arrive. That's why you're staying in that lighter shade of blue. But this middle portion here with the more medium shade of blue, it seems like the entire month will be mostly dominated by below average temperatures. That's why you're in that moderate shade of below average temperatures. Our confidence is just higher in this deeper blue region. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on and take a look at that exciting overall forecast. All right, now here we are taking a look at that overall forecast, and we're going to go ahead and work our way from west to east. You can kind of get the gist of this pretty early on just by looking at it. Warmer and wet there for the Pacific Northwest, and just to the east of you, less snow. And by less snow, I mean than what is typical, because it is typical for Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming to start seeing snowfall around September. Some of the lower lying areas, maybe not, but yes, some of those regions expect snow, and there will be less of it likely than what is typical. For the Southwest, and by Southwest, I mean mostly just California and Nevada, warmer than normal, kind of average precipitation potentially. And then to the east of you, we see hot and dry, very hot for this Four Corner State region that extends up through Wyoming and even Nevada as well. Just to the east of you, hot, but not as hot, because in the previous Septembers, we've seen heat wave after heat wave. I think there's a chance we don't see that happen. Of course, I think it's equal chances that it could happen as well, but it seems like you will have near normal conditions and not well above normal conditions like we've seen in past Septembers. So I hope that's good news for you guys. I get a lot of complaints about the heat there for Texas and Oklahoma. I hope that's some good news for you guys. To the north of there, we have a light blue region, Cooler than normal conditions are expected throughout all of those lighter blue regions for most of the month, not all of it. Obviously, there will be some days where you have warmer than normal conditions, but for the most part, most of September should be dominated with some colder than normal conditions. Then for that more deeper ocean blue shade there, unseasonably cold, it's going to be moderately below average temperatures and it's going to be quite consistent. Unseasonably cold, it might feel like more like October than it does really September. And I know a lot of you are probably excited because I know there was a lot of heat up there for a lot of those regions. So I know you guys are probably ready for the cooler than normal conditions. So there it is. It should be coming in. We have kind of a greenish bluish shade there, turquoise type color. Cooler and stormy. We expect some cooler than normal conditions alongside some above average precipitation there for portions of the inland southeast. So that's what you guys are going to receive. Very active tropics for this pink region. It's September. It's the peak of the hurricane season. There is going to be some chances, obviously, for some tropical activity to come onshore for some of these pink regions, so be on the lookout. Last but not least, the northeastern and New England states. Fall temperatures should arrive early for this purple region. That should be occurring after the 10th, I think, or maybe after the 15th of September. There should be a flip towards the colder than normal conditions, again, that are going to feel more like October than perhaps September. All right, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys in yesterday's video, are you excited for the cooler than normal temperatures? And Sue Taylor said, I cannot wait for the cooler than normal temperatures. I hope you enjoy the video, Sue. I hope you are in those colder than normal condition regions there. Anyway, for today's patron highlights of the day, I appreciate all of you for supporting the channel, especially our diamond patrons, Madbirds and Mark J, alongside our platinum patron, Donna Carnes. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.